everyone, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. Happy Hump Day, happy Wednesday. You guys, we are halfway to the weekend. I am so excited for the weekend. You know, Friday is my favorite day of the week. Now, I am going to be working on that Q&A video that I plan to have out for you on Saturday morning. So please make sure you go over to my community post and put your question or topic that you would like me to cover on Saturday's video. I'm really excited to do this video for you. But you guys, we have a lot of juicy royalty to get through today, so you know what to do. Sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea.
No, but you know, and some families sadly aren't as lucky as you guys have been, and being able to share things.
But we have been brought closer because of the circumstances as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, you are, uniquely bonded because of what we've been through.
Yeah.
But even Harry and I, over the years, have not talked enough about our mother. We've
never enough.
Has doing this campaign sort of made you realise that?
Yeah, I think so. I always thought to myself, what's the point in bringing up the past? What's the point in bringing up something that's only going to make you sad? It ain't going to change it. It ain't going to bring her back. And when you start thinking like that, it can be really damaging. And you always said to me, you've got to sit down and think about those memories. But for me, it was like, don't want to think about it.
Yeah, but I think what must happen with us and must happen with others as well is that you have to prioritise your mental health.
Yeah.
You have to say to yourself at some point, because it's very easy to run away from it, to walk away from it and avoid it the whole time. Someone has to take the lead and has to be brave enough to force that conversation.
So Prince Harry's 5-part docu-series, The Heart of Invictus, debuted today on Netflix. And a lot of people are already calling him out, saying he's making it about himself. Shocker. I know, we're all shocked. He always talks about, we're living in the future, we're not living in the past. I'm like, that is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Two people who were literally stuck in the past. If Meghan Markle isn't talking about that stupid dishwashing liquid commercial, Harry's talking about my mom, constantly. These two people don't know how to move on. For the past 3.5 years, they've been talking about their life in the royal family, when Meghan Markle has been out of the royal family longer than she was a working royal. It's time to put the martyrdom, the victimhood down. But oh no, Harry's got to get one more punch at the royal family and play the victim card and the mom card one more time. That's right, he made it all about himself and his past and his victimhood. So Prince Harry once again makes a very small dig at the royal family as he spoke at length about his post-traumatic stress disorder during an interview for his Netflix series. In the segment, the Duke of Sussex talks about his post-traumatic stress disorder, known as PTSD, and trauma in war zones, and appears to make a swipe at the royal family by saying, trauma was never discussed. He said, quote, look, I can only speak to my own experience, but from my tour of Afghanistan in 2012, flying Apaches, somewhere after that, there was an unraveling. He says, and the trigger for me was actually returning from Afghanistan, but the stuff that was coming up from 1997 from the age of 12, losing my mom at such a young age, the trauma I had and was never aware of. He continued and explained he never spoke about his feelings. He said, quote, it was never discussed and I really didn't talk about it and I suppressed it like most other youngsters would have done. When it all came fizzing out, I was bouncing off the walls. What is going on here? I am now feeling everything instead of being young. Now let's backtrack. He's bringing up his mom again. I know this was a huge traumatic event for Prince Harry. I'm not taking that away from him. But let's remember, Prince William lost his mother the exact day and same time that Prince Harry also lost his mother. Prince William was 14 versus 12. Not a huge difference. They both suffered a very traumatic event by losing their mother. The difference is that Prince Harry expected the entire world to wallow around him and to stop. Prince William has carried on with royal duties and his life. It has affected Prince William the exact same that it affected Prince Harry. They're the same experience in the same household. Harry even admitted in his book Spare, people wanted to talk about it and he would shut them down. So he's kind of contradicting himself once again. William told him to get counseling. William received counseling. Harry turned to drugs and alcohol and refused to talk about it. So you cannot blame the royal family when you admitted you refused help. You refused to talk about it. So now he's talking about he went to war and it brought up all of that stuff from his childhood. Yeah, that's a very big possibility. Your uncle Andy also went to war. He was a war hero. Harry, most of the time that you were in Afghanistan, you were known as Bunker Harry. You were the most protected soldier there. Your experience compared to the average soldier is way different. You did not experience half of what they experienced. Not to mention, when they go home, the average soldier doesn't have a palace, doesn't have multi-million dollars in the bank, doesn't have a family and a staff surrounding them, doing everything for them. A lot of them end up homeless, jobless, familyless, broke. They have to stand in line and hope they get their military benefits and hope they can put a roof over their head and act normal in society. Harry, your life is a golden teacup compared to 99.9% of the people in the world. You are constantly crying victim and acting like your life was so hard. Yes, you've had some traumatic moments, but so has other members of your family, like your brother. But the difference is Prince William had to put aside his own hurt and pain and move forward because he is the Prince of Wales. He is the future king. He has a responsibility to not make everything about himself. But you and your wife, everything is about me, 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 and me, 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 me. There is a complete different mindset. You can definitely tell a man who was born to be king and the spoiled spare son who is constantly competing and upset that he got less sausages on his plate as a child, who literally ran up to his brother and kicked him because his parents hugged him first. Harry has always been a very self-serving, spoiled, jealous brat. And now he's making the Heart of Invictus about himself, bringing up his mom and the trauma from his childhood, and then telling people in the same sentence, but we're moving on, we're living in the future, not in the past, as he brings up his mom once again. The man will never let it go, just like that stupid commercial with Meghan Markle. If any two people are the poster child for living in the past, it is Harry and Meghan. So a lot of people are definitely calling out the Heart of Invictus. I have not watched the docu-series because it just came out this morning. I'm not sure I'm going to watch it. I might watch it so I can give you some more feedback. But it is a 5-part series. Now, I do feel bad for the actual men and women who are part of the Heart of Invictus. I'm sure their story is something that's worth watching and worth seeing. But again, Harry injecting himself as the permanent prince victim, it's really disgusting. making it all about himself. He should have just focused on the men and women of the games. Their story is what it should be on. Prince Harry should never even talk about himself at all in this docu-series. Period. He should not have made himself a victim, because his experience compared to the average soldier is completely different. The royal family has suffered from PTSD at the hands of Harry and Meghan. For the past 3.5 years, they have been subjected to so much negative abuse from a person of their own family. PTSD comes in many forms. It's not just if you're in a battlefield. You can get PTSD from a relationship, PTSD from losing a family member, PTSD from being in an accident. PTSD is different for every single person, but Harry's constantly bringing up the death of his mom, and then he tries to bring it as an excuse to, counteract his negative actions. But the royal family, in my opinion, have suffered PTSD, and Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, that poor woman definitely had PTSD at the hands of her grandson. When she was dealing with the death of her husband, she was battling bone cancer, and her own grandson goes on TV and pretty much calls her and the Commonwealth racist. The whole royal family has dealt with PTSD because of Harry and Meghan. That is my opinion. The difference is they got to pull on their big boy and girl panties, and they go out and do the work of serving others and not serving themselves. But Harry and Meghan, they are two people who are just centered around themselves. So then Harry goes on to say, the biggest struggle for me was no one around me really could help. I didn't have that support structure, that network, or that expert advice to identify what was actually going on with me. You mean to tell me you didn't have a team of doctors and counselors on your speed dial, Harry? I think that's a lie. Unfortunately, like most of us, the first time you consider therapy is when you are lying on the floor in a fetal position, probably wishing you had dealt with some of this stuff previously. And that's what I really want to change. Again, in his own spare autobiography, he talks about how he refused help. He refused to talk about it. So again, you cannot say the royal family wasn't there for you if you don't want to get the help. So I will keep you guys posted if I do watch the Heart of Invictus and give you my feedback on the series. So the creator of Meghan Markle's popular legal drama Suits has waded into his own real-life drama after sensationally claiming that the royal family insisted the word poppycock be removed from her script over fears that clips would be edited to make it sound as though Meghan was saying a very naughty and crude word. So let me get this straight. The royal family was worried about the word poppycock, but they weren't worried about the simulated sex scenes or the fact that Meghan Markle was parading around almost naked in 90% of her scenes. But yeah, let's worry about the word poppycock, because heaven forbid it makes her look naughty and skanky, and we can't have that for a future Duchess, although she was literally simulating sex scenes, and in the 90210 episode, she was literally performing a sexual act in a car. But never mind that, let's worry about the word poppycock, because everything the royal family had to worry about with Meghan Markle leading up to the wedding was the word poppycock, not the negative backlash, the drama that was happening with her own family. No. Let's not worry about that. We need to get into that script for that show Suits that, quite frankly, not a lot of people were watching at the time. I really doubt the royal family was worried about what she said in a script. But this is what this man is saying. Now, the more interesting part of that is when they asked him, well, how did this happen? He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember the actual facts and the details of how the royal family got the script, how all of that happened. Well, in my personal opinion, I believe it probably came from Meghan. Meghan was like, you know, the royal family doesn't like it, so we're going to have to change the wording of this script. I believe Meghan Markle didn't want to say the word poppycock because, quite frankly, the word poppycock is not an American saying. That is something that the UK and the British people say. Now, the creator, whose name is Aaron Korsh, says that the word poppycock he wanted to put into the script as a special nod to his in-laws, who I'm assuming are from the UK. But the fact that he doesn't remember the actual details of how the royal family got their hands on a script, because back in the day it was top secret, you couldn't give out a script, and how it got interjected and changed. I believe 100% it was Meghan Markle making it up, but instead of saying the word poppycock, Meghan Markle says bullshite, as in saying the word bullshite is so much classier than poppycock. I, for one, say this entire story is poppycock. Why is he making this a comment now? Perhaps it's because Suits is doing well on Netflix and he wants his 15 minutes of fame to be relevant. Who knows? I think this entire story is made up and that perhaps Meghan Markle was the one who interjected and pretended like she was speaking on behalf of the royal family. That is my 2 cents on this most ridiculous story. That is all of the royal tea that I have for today, but there are so many stories that I am working on for the Royal Daily Tea History and Fashion channel, as well as the Q&A for the Saturday video, and I do have quite a few other videos that I'm hoping to work on this weekend for you guys. But as always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.